This is Global Currency Insight, and what just appeared on live television has caught the attention of many people worldwide. During a major financial news broadcast, viewers noticed something that seemed almost impossible at first glance. The Iraqi dinar displayed with an exchange rate of 4.31. For years, discussions around the dinar have circulated in financial and online communities, often with speculation about its potential value. But what happened on screen looked different from past rumors. Instead of seeing the familiar fractions of a cent that the dinar is normally associated with, the rate shown was over $4 per unit, and it stayed visible for nearly 3 minutes of live airtime. If accurate, this would represent an increase of hundreds of thousands of percent compared to the commonly known figures. The moment left many stunned, wondering if they had just witnessed confirmation of something long talked about, or if it was a broadcast mistake. That went unchecked. The circumstances of how this appeared make the situation even more unusual. The broadcast wasn't from a small station or obscure outlet, but from a large, respected international financial network that has a reputation for accuracy and credibility. Their reports are usually based on data directly linked to official financial sources, and errors on this scale are extremely rare. If the 4.31 figure was truly an error, the expectation would be that it would be corrected within seconds. Television graphics teams are heavily monitored, and editors work in real time to catch problems as soon as they occur. The fact that this figure remained displayed for several minutes during a discussion of economic recovery in the Middle East makes it appear less like a simple mistake and more like intentional information being shown. That context is why many are treating this moment as potentially significant rather than dismissing it outright. The timing of this broadcast also raised eyebrows because of the topics being discussed alongside the exchange rate. The segment focused on Iraq's oil industry, reaching new highs in production, the government's recent infrastructure projects, and the steady flow of investment entering the country. These subjects line up closely with what many observers have suggested would need to happen before any major change in currency value could occur. Economic growth, expanded trade, and improved national stability all contribute to the strength of a currency, and the anchor highlighted these exact conditions at the same moment the 4.31 rate appeared on screen. For some viewers, it felt like a coordinated unveiling rather than a coincidence, especially since these developments have been building for months. Another layer of intrigue came from reports that only a few days earlier, Iraq's central bank had held an emergency meeting about monetary policy. While no details were officially shared about what was decided, the unusual timing of such a meeting fueled speculation that it could be connected. Then, soon after, several banks in Iraq reportedly restricted cash withdrawals, explaining it as part of system upgrades. To many, this pattern looked like preparation for significant financial changes rather than routine adjustments. System upgrades in the banking world often take place when something large is about to be rolled out, such as changes to exchange rates or new financial procedures. When viewed together with the televised 4.31 figure, the series of events seemed more than coincidental, leading to increased public interest and scrutiny. Adding to the narrative, online activity among currency dealers was noticeably different during the same week. Some websites that typically sell Iraqi dinar paused their operations, while others raised prices or temporarily limited availability. This was not the first time such actions had been observed, but the timing was striking given what had just appeared on television. In addition, a number of individuals reported unusual responses when attempting to exchange dinars at various outlets. Instead of receiving a clear yes or no, some were told to wait or that the rates were under review. Such replies are not standard practice in currency exchanges, and that fueled even more conversation about whether something was happening quietly behind the scenes. While these pieces of information on their own may not prove anything, together they created a picture that many viewers connected directly to the possibility of a revaluation. The financial math behind the 4.31 rate also grabbed attention because of the scale of change it would represent. Under the long-standing exchange rate, $1 buys more than 1,000 Iraqi dinars. At 4.31 per dinar, the reversal would be extreme. To illustrate, a person holding 10,000 dinars purchased for a few US dollars would see them valued in the tens of thousands if exchanged at that rate. While the example was simple, it demonstrated why so many people were struck by what they saw. A shift of that size would have life-changing implications for anyone holding the currency, and it would also reshape Iraq's position in global financial markets. Even as viewers debated whether the broadcast was accurate or not, the possibility was enough to stir strong reactions across different communities following the situation. It is also important to note the wider context of Iraq's progress in recent years, which could make the appearance of such a rate seem less far-fetched than it once did. Iraq has been working to reestablish itself as a reliable economic partner on the international stage. Oil production, which remains the backbone of the country's economy, has reached record highs, bringing in substantial revenue. Trade agreements have been signed with multiple countries, and investment in infrastructure has been a government priority. Political stability has also been improving after years of challenges, with elections being held and coalition governments forming. These developments give Iraq stronger fundamentals than it had in the past, which could justify a stronger currency in the future. Even so, no official confirmation has been issued, leaving many questions still unanswered. The televised figure also reignited discussions about Iraq's connections to global financial organizations. In recent months, officials from Iraq have been in regular contact with major institutions like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. Meetings have focused on improving financial systems, aligning with international trade practices, and restoring Iraq's full participation in the global banking community. These moves have long been considered steps that would need to happen before any currency revaluation could be realistic. The fact that the 4.31 rate appeared after these developments was seen by many as evidence of timing that was too precise to be accidental. While such meetings do not guarantee a revaluation, they strengthen the perception that Iraq has been preparing for significant changes. Despite all of this, skepticism remains a natural response. Over the past 2 decades, there have been countless rumors about the Iraqi dinar suddenly increasing in value, and each time those claims failed to materialize. Many people have become cautious about believing new reports without official announcements. This history of false alarms is why some viewers immediately questioned whether the broadcast might have been an error, even though it stayed on screen longer than usual. Others argued that until a government or central bank statement is released, the rate shown should be treated with caution. The difference this time is the visible and recorded appearance of the number during a live segment, which separates it from claims that exist only in online forums or unverified reports. Another factor that came up in discussions was how other currencies often linked to the Iraqi dinar might be impacted. For years, conversations have included mentions of the Vietnamese Dong or the Zimbabwean dollar as potentially seeing similar revaluations. However, during the broadcast in question, only the Iraqi dinar was shown at the 4.31 figure. No evidence has surfaced to suggest any changes in those other currencies. For now, the focus appears to be entirely on Iraq, and any speculation beyond that does not have supporting information. This distinction is important because it helps separate verified observations from speculation, keeping attention on what was actually seen rather than what people may expect to follow. One of the most frequently discussed points since the broadcast is the process that would unfold if a revaluation were indeed underway. Typically, major currency changes do not become immediately available to the public. Instead, a series of steps would take place, starting with the rate being set officially, followed by communication to financial institutions, then updates to their systems, and eventually public access. This means that even if the 4.31 figure is accurate, it would take time before ordinary individuals could exchange dinars at that rate. Delays of days or even weeks would be expected in order for banks and currency exchanges to be properly updated. This helps explain why people attempting exchanges may have received unusual responses in recent days. Another angle to consider is how the appearance of the rate fits with Iraq's broader economic strategy. Increasing the value of a national currency carries both opportunities and risks. On one hand, it would demonstrate economic strength and attract further investment. On the other hand, it could impact exports and the competitiveness of domestic industries. Iraq's reliance on oil means its financial health is closely tied to global energy markets. So policymakers would need to carefully balance any currency adjustments with their trade position. The emergency central bank meeting, combined with the system updates at banks, suggests that these considerations may already be under review. Again, no official statements have been made, but the sequence of events provides clues that are hard to ignore. The visual confirmation of the rate also challenges how people think about information flow in global finance. Financial networks usually maintain strict accuracy because their reputations depend on it. For a figure like 4.31 to appear, it would have likely passed through several checks before reaching the air. While human error is always possible, the structure of these organizations makes prolonged errors highly unlikely. That is why many people believe the figure was intentionally displayed. If true, it would mean that the network was prepared to show it and wanted viewers to see it, rather than it slipping through unnoticed. This possibility adds another dimension to the discussion, leaving audiences to wonder whether they witnessed a controlled release of information or a mistake that carried unusual persistence. The reaction among those who already hold Iraqi dinars was immediate and intense. Many people expressed excitement at the potential implications, while others urged caution and patience. Some shared stories of trying to confirm the new rate through their banks or dealers and receiving inconsistent answers. Others simply waited for official news, noting that without confirmation from Iraq's central bank or international bodies, the rate remains unverified. This wide range of reactions highlights the uncertainty that still surrounds the situation. It also demonstrates how strongly people are invested in the outcome, both financially and emotionally, after years of following the dinar story. Looking at Iraq's recent trajectory, the 4.31 figure seems less isolated when viewed alongside other progress the country has made. Oil revenues have surged, helping stabilize government finances. Infrastructure is being rebuilt after years of conflict, and new foreign partnerships are strengthening the economy. Political stability, while not perfect, has improved compared to previous decades. All of these factors contribute to the environment where a stronger currency becomes more plausible. Whether the televised number was accurate or not, it reflects conditions that are moving in a direction consistent with an improved financial position. Observers continue to wait for clarity, but the context adds weight to what was seen on the broadcast. In the days ahead, much will depend on whether official confirmation is released from Iraq or international financial institutions. Until that happens, the 4.31 figure remains a striking but unverified piece of information. Its appearance on live television, however, ensures that it will not be easily forgotten or dismissed. The combination of timing, supporting events, and visible evidence has set this apart from past speculation. Viewers are left with more questions than answers, but one thing is clear. What appeared on screen has reignited global interest in the Iraqi dinar and its future. The world is watching closely to see what, if anything, follows this unexpected broadcast and whether it marks the beginning of a major financial change or simply a momentary mystery in international reporting.